Hi, my name is Annie, and welcome to the Walking Word, where we go through the Bible in a year as part of discipling. Today, we're reading from Exodus chapter 23. So, we've looked at some of the teachings that God has on regarding slaves, treating other people's property, laws, some social laws. Um, and we're now in Exodus chapter 23. Let's continue. You shall not repeat a false report. Do not join the wicked in putting your hand as an unjust witness upon anyone. Neither shall you allege the example of many as an excuse for doing wrong, nor shall you when testifying in a lawsuit. Neither shall you allege the example of the many as an excuse for doing wrong. You know this thing that our parents used to tell us, just because everyone jumps from a bridge, will you also jump? So this is basically what God is saying. You will not testify your illness, the wrong you've done, based on many other people doing wrong. You shall not favor a poor man in his lawsuit. Okay? So God doesn't have partiality. Poor, rich, you shall not favor a poor man in his lawsuit. Okay. When you come upon your enemy's ox or ass going astray, see to it that it is returned to him. Just be nice. When you notice that the ass of the one who hates you lying prostrate under its burden, by no means desert him. Help him rather to raise it up. Just because you see your enemy suffering with his ox on the side, it's okay. Go help. You shall not deny one of your needy fellow men his rights in his lawsuit. You shall keep away from anything dishonest. The innocent and the just you shall not put to death, nor shall you acquit the guilty. So, innocence, he who's declared innocent is based on the highest bidder. To God, no. Never take a bribe, for a bribe blinds even the most clear-sighted and twists the words even of the just. And this is why, as Christians, we are not allowed to bribe. The reason is bribery is one of those sins that go generationally. And you wonder why, when you meet some people, be it in civil service, be it in corporate office, be it in any form of business, and they bribe, or they ask you for a bribe, genuinely take this into account that they're genuinely blind. It's not that, I almost want to say it's not their fault, but like they're blind. They genuinely cannot see that what they're doing is wrong. And the worst part is that the same sin will fall upon their children. Let's continue. You shall keep away from never take a bribe, for a bribe blinds even the most clear-sighted and twists the words of even the just. So that's why even just people, righteous people, why we can't give a bribe, because you become blind. You shall not oppress an alien. You well know how it feels to be an alien, since you were once aliens yourselves in the land of Egypt. Religious laws. For 6 years you may sow your land and gather its produce, but the seventh year you shall let the land lie untilled and unharvested, that the poor among you may eat of it, and the beasts of the field may eat also what the poor leave behind. So also shall you do in regard to your vineyard and your olive grove. For 6 days you may do no work, but on the seventh day you must rest, that your ox and your ass may also have rest, that the son of your maidservant and the alien may be refreshed. Yeah. For those who believe that, their workers should not go on break or a leave, or it's law. Give heed to all that I have told you. Never mention the name of any other God. It shall not be heard from your lips. 3 times a year you shall celebrate a pilgrim feast to me. You shall keep the feast of unleavened bread. Yeah, unleavened bread, remember we talked about unleavened bread is without yeast. Yeast is a sign of sin. So it's almost a feast of repentance. You shall keep the feast of unleavened bread as I have commanded you. You must eat unleavened bread for 7 days, and as prescribed at the prescribed time in the month of Abib. Remember, Abib was the um, Jewish first month of the Jewish calendar, if you can remember, from the time God gave Moses the laws. For it was then that you came out of Egypt. No one shall appear before me empty handed. You shall also keep the feast of the grain with the first of the crops that you have sown in the field, and finally the feast at the fruit harvest at the end of the year, when you gather in the produce from the fields. Thrice a year you shall all your men appear before the Lord. So remember this feast. There's one at the beginning of the year, there's one at the end of the year, then at the middle of the year. So at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year, you shall have a feast. Then thrice a year, all your men shall present themselves to God. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread, nor shall the fat of my feast be kept overnight till the next day. So anything that is for God never sleeps over. Remember, sleeping over is also there's also fermentation. Fermentation is yeast, and anything fermented is not pure before the Lord. Yeah? The choicest first fruits of your soil shall bring to the house of the Lord your God. You shall not boil a kid in its mother's milk. So remember the first 7 days. You remember the first 7 days of any youngling? It has to be left with its mother until that period of colostrum is done, is when you can give it up to God. Reward for fidelity. Reward for doing what I tell you. See, I am sending an angel before you to guard you on your way and bring you to the place I have prepared. Be attentive to him and heed his voice. Do not rebel against him, for he will not forgive your sin. My authority resides in him. If you heed his voice and carry out all I tell you, if you heed his voice and carry out all I tell you, I will be an enemy to your enemies and a foe to your foes. See, my authority resides with him. If you heed his voice and carry out all I tell you, I will be an enemy to your enemies and a foe to your foes. My angel will go before you and bring you to the Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, Canaanites, Hivites, and Jebusites, and I will wipe them out. Therefore, you shall not bow down in worship before their gods, nor shall you make anything like them. Rather, you must demolish them and smash their sacred pillars. Remember, these guys from the land of Canaan used to worship other gods. So God is telling them, you must demolish and smash their sacred pillars. The Lord, Master, your God, Creator, you shall worship. Then I will bless you. Then I will bless your food and drink, and I will remove all sickness from your midst. No woman in your land will be barren or miscarry, and I will give you a full span of life. A full span of life. I will have the fear of me precede you, so that I will throw into panic every nation you reach. I will make all your enemies turn from you in flight, and ahead of you I will send hornets, like the big bees, to drive the Hivites, Canaanites, and Hittites out of your way. But not in 1 year will I drive them all out before you, else the land will become so desolate that the wild beasts will multiply against you. Instead, I will drive them out little by little before you until you have grown numerous enough to take possession of the land. I will set your boundaries from the Red Sea to the Sea of the Philistines, and from the desert to the river. All who dwell in this land I will hand over to you and be driven out of your way. You shall not make a covenant with them or their gods. They must not abide in your land, lest they make you sin against me by ensnaring you into worshiping their gods. Yeah, let's see how that pans out. We continue in chapter 24.